Hello, it's Blighty Otaku here, and well, while this camera is pointed at my not so clean floor, one of the things that this video is primarily going to be about is stuff that I got for absolutely nothing, which doesn't include that box, because this is the Bitfinex Nova case that I actually purchased just under a year ago, just before I started on the disaster that was this room, rearranging this room. But it is necessary now because, well, what's in that carrier bag is actually being put in it. But first, we're going to focus on this little thing, because yeah, the contents of the carrier bag and this I got for absolutely nothing. And this is a Dell Precision T1600 Sandy Bridge motherboard system, which when it was originally purchased, it had an Intel Xeon E3-1245. Although if I hadn't asked for it, it would have come without a processor and RAM. But it actually does have a Intel Pentium G645 plus about 4 gigs of RAM. It does not have any hard drives, which is one thing I'm going to have to deal with in the next week or so, because I might end up setting this up to replace that as general use. And what's in here, well, I'm probably going to use that for another system, but first things first, I'm just going to quickly cut the video. And yeah, I've only got that there because there's a Windows 7 Pro license key. I might be able to actually make use of that. But yeah, I'm going to quickly stop recording so that I can get my little table out and we can have a quick nose around inside. And we're back, and with this, it is a very simple case of pull the handle and lift, no screws. Right. So, yeah, well, the good thing is he's actually left in all of the drive cages along with the SATA data cables. We've also got a power supply cable for the hard drives, but yeah. So yeah, the good thing is I won't have to worry about testing this, or well, actually getting any extra parts for it apart from hard drives, because I can easily run it off the Intel integrated. Unfortunately, this looks like some kind of proprietary fan system. Yeah, but well, under here we got the Pentium G645. Mixed bag. 4 gigs of DDR3 RAM. And the only other good thing is it has an optical drive. So for the moment, what I could easily do for testing is to actually boot out a Linux distro. Yeah, this is probably going to need some hack job work if I want to actually transplant this into another case. I don't think I want to have this thing around. Yes, and as I said, these are all proprietary connectors. So there would need to be an adapter to run to actually adapt a standard 4-pin or 3-pin fan into that. Yeah. 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 Well, we've got cat resting over here. Probably didn't hear that, but well, I could. Yeah. Yeah. So this is a as I said, well, this is a 2.9 gigahertz processor, 4 gigs of RAM. Yes, and I'm rambling yet again. So I'm going to close this up, and and this thing actually has a speaker, which is nice. Yeah, and back I/O as VGA, DisplayPort only, audio and microphone, and 6 USB 2.0s, along with the old-fashioned PS2 mouse and keyboard. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to close this up and put it to one side. I'm gonna stop. Yeah, I'm gonna stop the recording. Close this up so I can put this to one side, and then I'm going to break out the contents of that and that. So back in a bit. And here is item number 2, which is actually older than that, which I've now got in storage until I can sort it out and test it. But what we have here is a Gigabyte GA-P35C-DS3R, and it's a very unusual thing, as you could tell by the amount of RAM slots it has, and the fact that this is actually a socket 775 motherboard. Because what we have down here, hang on, oh, get that over there, just rolling over stuff. Hang on, Eva, go on, you're a good girl. Right, now that I've got her, now that she's walked out, yeah, well, I can't remember what processor this is, but it is a 1.6 gigahertz dual Pentium dual core, which should be more than enough for this to act as my temporary visual novel PC. And considering the amount of SATA this thing has, once it's done with that job, it can do a pretty good job as a file server, even though this is running SATA 2. And alright, well, as you could probably see from this little legend here, there is actually something a bit extra about this, because this actually is sort of like an in-between motherboard, that in between standards of DDR2 and DDR3. So what we have are 4 DDR2, which can go up to 1066 natively, or 1200 overclock with overclocking in, maximum of 8 gigs, but you can also, you can't actually have them in at the same time. This also has 2 DDR3 slots, which can support either 1066 or 1333. Although you could actually put higher clock speeds in, and it would downclock the RAM. But you can't actually run DDR2 and DDR3 together, and the max of DDR3 is only 4 gig. So I could easily swap stuff around, and so it is rather hot here. Right. So we actually do have some very snazzy DDR2 on this, because one of the other things is this motherboard has no built-in graphics, so I'd have to either get another graphics card or pilfer the 610 from that to actually get this thing working. Although working would require either a power supply, another power supply, or cable extension, so that I can actually use the old junker from that. Yeah, just a minute. Yes, this is a PC2 5400 512. So we've only got 2 gigs here. Yeah, the thing is, I might end up pulling that out and putting larger modules in. But anywho, what also came with it, of course, is its I/O shield and a PCI gigabit network card, because the previous owner thought the onboard LAN was being rather flaky. But, well, that's neither here or there. It's here. It needs to be in a case like pronto. So I'm going to do a little jump cut, and our next run we should actually have that on the table and this to one side. And well, this is the first time that this white behemoth has finally seen the light of day. So yeah, so all the I/O is up top, and this thing does have some elevation because this is a dust sucker system. The good thing is we've got risers. So yeah, quick showing of this case. It only has a single drive bay, but I know there are other 5 1/4 slots in the case. So, well, jump cut again, and we should actually be inside. We should be seeing the inside of this case. Right, well, we are now inside the case, and good thing is that, well, one thing is that this case has white-headed thumb screws, although you can't see that properly because this thing is crap at focusing. Also, we have a speaker, so I could easily hatch up a power supply in to this to test it, but the first thing I'll need are an extra 3 risers, which are in the bag of bits, because they only put in the first 6, but this needs the full 9. So I'm going to be putting the risers in, the extra risers in, and then sticking in the motherboard. So Yeah, and I did actually want to add the I/O shield in before I actually started this section, although it took a bit of brute force and the end of my screwdriver to get it into place. So, back in a bit, due to the magic of video editing. And we have it in, but I've only got it done in by one screw, because, well, this spacer here was being a right pain in the backside to actually get in. So I had to sort of like do a hack job secure by actually screwing in one of the motherboard screws to the riser, and then actually using that to screw it down, then holding on to the riser with me grips. Yes, did you make up your mind about where you're going to lie down? It is definitely a bit hot up there, Eva. Yeah, grabbing it with that, grabbing the riser with the pliers and extracting the screw. So now all I have to do is put in the remaining 8. So again, magic of video editing, back in a bit. Just got to put the screws in and probably tidy up some of this spaghetti. And everything's screwed in, and I've actually taken the time to do a bit of wiring, even though I probably won't be keeping this insane setup with the front panel audio, considering where that is located, and it would normally be located somewhere around the bottom on something a lot more modern. And it has taken me so long to sort this out. I've sweated so much that this is now basically soaked through. Well, I've got everything wired up, even though I can't retest it, with the exception of the USB 3, because I don't have any USB 3 headers on this board. Yeah, because the only way that this is a good server is partly because of the slow processor, but because, well, 2 of these data ports are controlled by that chip there, and I think the rest of them are actually controlled by the South Bridge. Alright. Yeah, because we got I think that's either the audio processor, or that is, because I know there's a few Realtek chips here. One must be network, that one must be audio, that one must be network. And we have 2 BIOS, so if anything goes wrong, it's not going to fuck up. And yeah, because what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to get a standalone sound card, probably PCI Express 1X, and plug it in here. Probably have a USB 3 card in, so that I can make use of USB 3, and yeah, have to get a graphics card for this one to actually test it. So I'm actually going to close this up and put this away, and as you can probably notice, I've actually removed the stock fan, because there's no way I'm having anything with Molex floating around in this case. So that's going to go into storage. That network card's going to go into storage. All of this crap is going to go into a recycling bag. I'm probably going to end up pulling out that 2 gigs, because I really want to bump it up, and I might actually put DDR3 in here, since it can actually take it. So, this is Blighty Otaku signing off. Until next time, I'll sweat you later. Anything better than catch you later, because I am sweating buckets here. Doodle bit. And a quick bit of bonus footage with the Dell Precision T1600 and the Gigabyte board now in its Bitfinex Nova Home. So that one I'm probably going to do a second video on for its test along with that, because I can most likely hack job actually wire up the old power supply from that, and because we got a motherboard speaker with the case, I can actually just wire it up to power, switch it on. If it beeps almightily about having no graphics card, then we should be fine and dandy and groovy. Though now I've just got to remember which file is for the single video and which videos are for all of this lot.